Hello, everybody, and welcome to a virtual episode of South by Southeast. Today, we are with Dan, Mark, and Robin. They are members of the Bowen class of 1973, and they are here to talk about their 50-year reunion. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you.
Thank
Of course, of course. So whoever wants to go first, tell me a little bit about what is going to be going on. I know you guys are going to be celebrating 50 years coming up soon. What is that going to entail, and what should people look forward to with that?
you. If I can just briefly talk about our history,
Of course, of course.
we, of course, are the class of 1973 graduating from James H. Bowen High School in Chicago, Illinois. We had a very large class that graduated, but we have continued to have a core group of our classmates that have, over this 50-year period, continued to have relationships with, that we've traveled with, just you name it. We have been a family. We are brothers and sisters. We love each other. We support each other. So it has been, I was thinking about it earlier today, how I have known the class of 1973 as long as I have known my siblings.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
an honor to call them my brothers and sisters. And it's always nice to see that familiar face. So I'm not going to prolong it, but I love my class. I think we are the best product that came out of James H. Bowen High School. I was also extremely popular. I just throw that in.
I'm sure you were, Robin. I can't wait to see pictures of what like everybody looked like from then, like from that time period. I mean, this was way before I was even thought of. So I'm sure
Okay,
things were a lot different.
moving on. So, Danny, you might want to jump in as and you should really get Mark for saying you were the 50-year president.
So I wasn't the 50-year president. This is our 50th year since we
Right.
graduated. It's a real milestone. It was a milestone when we graduated. And now it's 50 years later that we crossed the stage at Erie Crown Theater in McCormick Place. And as Robin said, many of us have been close. And even though at times we've lost in contact, we've always taken a part of our experience with us. So I'm very grateful for that. I went to a couple of reunions and they were great. A lot of dancing, and this time, I really need to mingle more because I want to see what people have been doing and catching up with them. With that, I'm gonna let Mark talk about the reunion, and Mark's gonna talk about the reunion. Very grateful for Mark and Robin taking a real keen and the leading roles in the reunion.
Well, I'm not going to take a lot of credit because Don and a gentleman named Don Richardson and Robin did our first, have done every reunion since our fifth. So they should take a lion's share of keeping it going. And since they're now real old, they asked me to do it this year.
Not aging anybody at all.
I'm not
So we've got something special planned. We did our 45th 5 years ago, and it was kind of it was more of a get together just to kind of patch us between 40 and 50. 50 is going to be a little special, so we're going to start out on August the 11th with a get together at Chuggalug, I'm sorry, Pub and Grill on 184th and Halsted.
Okay.
And that's going to be, everybody's going to be getting into town, and they'll get a chance for the Chicago folks to start to mingle back in with us out of towners and kind of break the ice. And we'll wear our proud Boilermaker shirts at
Yep, I
night.
see
Just
that
have
there.
a kind of fun, yeah, be loose and nothing formal. And then we're hoping to have a tour of the school on Saturday, the 12th of August. We're working on that to get over to see good old James H. Bowen, see all the changes that have happened, hopefully meet with some students just to kind of share our experiences with them. And then the big event comes on Sunday, August 13th. We're going to we're doing a little different this year. We're going to do a buffet brunch out at Ravislow Country Club, which is located on 182nd and Park Avenue in Homewood. That'll be where we get everybody together. We're already up to 73. I just heard today that
Oh, wow.
our plan is to have at least 100. Looks like we'll exceed that 100. We've got alumni coming in from all over the country. So we're looking forward to having a lot of fun with each other and our 50th. And we'll celebrate those that are there, and we'll celebrate our classmates that are no longer with us.
Of course, of course. It's such an amazing milestone to have that 50-year reunion with a bunch of the people that you went to high school with. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's truly a blessing, but it's also one where we are constantly getting emails about or messages that many of our classmates have passed on. So that has been disappointing, but of course, that's nature. So
Right.
thing I do want to add in is that our class has always supported Bowen. We have hosted lunches for the teachers, and we're talking past our graduation, but we've hosted luncheons for the teachers. We bought cots because unfortunately many of the students at Bowen have children. And so we purchased cots for the children because they would have to bring their children to school. And there was a nursery set up at one time. I don't think it's there anymore, but we purchased cots for them. We've done a lot. We've walked the halls and we've spoken to the students that are there. So we've never let Bowen forget that we were part of that family. And it's, again, it's a good feeling to know. I am in Las Vegas now, but it's a good know that when I get to Chicago, I won't have to walk around and wonder, will these people remember me? Because as they've said, Don Richardson and I have done all the reunions, the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40. I wasn't there for the 45, but so it's always nice that, you remember the faces. Of course you changed,
Right.
but you remember faces and don't feel like you have to sit at a table by yourself and wonder, who's going to speak to you. And Danny and I had an experience. I'll say I was a cheerleader. Mark was a basketball player.
Oh, nice.
Cheerleader had to do a cartwheel when they called off a basketball player's name. I was the cheerleader that did the cartwheel, and they called Mark's name. Mark, did you know that?
I did.
Yes, that's right.
Probably why I scored so many points.
That's baller. And Danny and I were both officers, but I remember Danny and I going to pay for, I think, our senior prom. We were trying to get downtown to pay for it. And on our way back, we had a flat tire in Chicago and it was a snowstorm and none of us knew how to.
Oh, gosh.
Dan, did you ever learn how to change a flat? Because you were no help.
No, I haven't. But there were two women in a car, so I said, "You women go out and get help. They're not going to
Oh,
stop
I thought
me."
you were going to say, you women go and change a tire and we'll go back and get help.
And so they stepped out of the car and instantly we got help,
Right. It was Audrey and I. So, think about the people in the room and our history with them and some of those fun moments like that.
Of
Some of the
course.
fun, with Mark, who, he scored a lot of points because of my flip. So Mark, I would.
You gotta buy her a drink for that one, Mark.
I know. I'd like to add, Robin touched on something that's really kind of goes past the 50th. Schools were different back then. You went to school in your district. So
Mhm.
many of us actually go back to grammar school. So we're approaching, and many of us grew up in the same neighborhoods from like when we were 10 years old and older. So for a lot of us, we're talking 60-year reunion.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And
Just
many of
going
us
off
went
from
to,
the
you
grammar
know,
school
started
years to
in,
the high school years. Yeah.
exactly. When we moved into the neighborhood, we were, fourth and fifth graders. And so we had that history coming from schools like Robert A. Black, McDowell. But the other great thing about Bowen is that it pulled from South Chicago, it pulled from Jeffrey Manor, it pulled
Mm.
from East Chicago Heights, or not East Chicago Heights, but Calumet Heights. It pulled from Avalon,
So it's
Marion.
a pretty big district.
Well, there were, when we went there, there were 5,300 students in the
Oh,
school.
wow. That's really large. Yeah.
Like our freshman class was about 1,153, I think.
Oh,
And of
yes.
that, 670 of us graduated.
Hmm.
Stayed for a
Wow.
long night at McCormick Place.
So hopefully the numbers will get higher than that 73 that you currently have as RSVP, because
That's
that'd be
We hope so.
a good reunion there if you got more than the 73 people. But we are running a little bit short on time, so I did want to ask, where can somebody who was part of the class go to maybe find out more information or RSVP to get themselves to the 50-year reunion?
So we have information posted on Facebook on
Okay.
the Bowen High School Facebook page. They can also call 708-388-4878, which is our hotline.
Okay.
To get information. And they can also email us at bowenalum@gmail.com. And we'll post all this information on your podcast as well.
Yes, that would be perfect. Well, I do want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy days. I know you guys are all in different time zones right now, so I do want to thank you for joining us. We look forward to covering more of the reunion as it approaches. So thank you, Dan, Mark, and Robin, for being here today. Is there anything else that you wanted to say? We only have a couple more minutes left.
Danny?
No, just that, I definitely encourage everyone to come. As you said, we had a big class and we would like there to be as many people as possible. So yeah, let's definitely toast to 5 decades
Yes.
of work and friendship. And so yeah, definitely please come.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. This is another episode of South by Southeast.
Thank you.
Yeah.